Caregiving isn't just about being there day to day. It's about learning how to navigate systems that were never designed with us in mind. Doctor's appointments, speech therapy, the education system, each one of those can feel like a battle of their own. Today, I want to share with you some lessons that I learned along the way of taking care of my son who has special abilities and hoping that it can save you some stress and not have to try to figure it out the hard way like I did. Hi, I'm Latrina. I'm a special needs mom, caregiver, and nurse practitioner. I know what it's like to not have the adequate resources for your child. I know what it's like to pour your all into your loved one or your child and still feel like it's not enough. I felt like that I failed as a parent on more than one occasion, so you are not alone. When it comes to doctor's appointments, the key word is advocate. You want to make sure that you come prepared to the doctor's appointments. Have all your questions written down so that you don't leave the appointment without any answers. Sometimes the providers can feel like that, they're moving around, they're moving really fast or talking really fast because they are allotted a certain amount of time to see the patients. But I want you to sometimes slow them down and say, hey, I need you to understand this. I don't want to repeat myself. I want you to make sure that you know that this is very important to me so that I can continue taking care of my loved one and maintain their independence. And once you slow them down, usually they understand and they will slow down and they will say, okay, how can I help you? Okay. So you also want to make sure when you're talking to them that you document everything. You want to document dates that everything started. You want to document symptoms, what symptoms they were, how long did they last, what are your recommendations, what research have you done, what will work best for your loved one, okay? I learned early on that if I didn't speak up for my son, no one else would. My voice is his voice. So it's very important that I speak up for him in every area or aspect of his life. You don't want to make anybody make you feel small for asking questions because that's what the experts are there for, to fill in the gaps for the information that you don't know. The next thing I want to talk about is therapy. Therapy can be overwhelming at first. Trust me, I know. In the beginning of my son's illness, we went to therapy or intensive therapy 5 days a week, 3 to 4 hours a day. So just imagine just being there all day doing exercise after exercise. I knew that it was very important, so I gave myself grace to learn everything so that I can transition and transfer and bring those same tools home to help my son. So like I said, you definitely want to attend all the sessions that your loved one is scheduled for. You want to pay close attention so that you can, like I said, transfer and bring those same exercises home so that you can implement them at home. Trust me, it'll help a lot immensely with the progress that your loved ones make. It'll also create more independence for them. The more you do, the more they're able to do. So just keep that in mind. And then you also want to celebrate small wins. What looks like tiny to others is huge to us. A sign or a sound, a gesture, taking a step. That is huge because it signifies that the brain is working, everything is working together, and then that creates more independence for your loved one. So we always want to just make sure that we're doing the things in therapy at home, not just in therapy, because then they will regress because they're going to forget. Okay? And then also, don't compare your child's journey to anyone else's. Everybody's journey is unique. In the early stages, I would leave therapy sessions with my son feeling defeated because I would look at other kids and say, wow, they're like making leaps and bounds and my child is still trying to hold his head up. But I had to understand my son's injury was a lot more significant than that other child. So I had to know or give myself grace to say, hey, his brain has to heal and do what it's supposed to do so that he's able to make those leaps and bounds, maybe not now, but later in life. So give yourself grace. You have a unique journey, only unique to you, and that's okay. Now the education system. That system has its own level of warfare, okay? I still fight with the education system and the insurance companies all the time. That's probably going to be my fight for the rest of my life for him. That's totally fine. You just have to make sure that you equip yourself for research, be able to know the terms, know the language. when they're talking about IEPs, individualized education plans, when they're talking about arts, admissions review, dismissal. Those two terms are used interchangeably, but they're kind of like the same thing. The annual meeting that everybody who has a say-so in your child's goals come to the table to discuss whether they're meeting their goals or they're not meeting their goals. How can we make accommodations for them to meet their goals? What do you think, Mom? What do you think, Dad? The assistant principal, the teacher, the social worker, PT, which is physical therapy, speech therapy, OT, everybody is at that table and they're throwing out different terms. And if you don't understand anything while you're at that table, you need to clarify and ask them, hey, what does that mean in layman's terms? Because I'm not sure that I understand everything, and I need to be able to understand all the language that's being spoken about my child so that I can make informed decisions. Okay? So just make sure that you're aware and have research as much as you can so that you can participate as much as you can in your child's goal setting environment. And then just make sure that that you don't get overwhelmed, because it can be overwhelming. It's a lot to be a special needs mom. It's not a cakewalk. It is real life work 24/7. It doesn't stop. And so just make sure that give yourself grace. It's going to be okay. You got this. They also have parents that are advocates in helping with IEPs and art meetings. So make sure that you seek out that information as well, because there are resources out there to help you when you don't understand things, that can lay things out in layman's terms for you to understand. Okay. And then also just make sure you build relationships with your teachers and the staff. They aren't your enemy. When everybody can come together in the best interest of the child will progress like continuously. You don't want to create pits where there could be bridges. Okay? You want to make sure like, hey, I'm on this with you all. My son or my daughter is very important. How can we help them to reach the best of their ability, to reach their independence as much as possible? Okay? So you want to make sure you create those relationships. And then just making sure that they know that you are your child's voice, especially for our nonverbal babies, right? Because if they can't speak, we have to speak for them. And don't be afraid to speak up or ask questions, because you need to know everything that's going on. Don't let anybody make you feel small for asking questions. I say the only problem is when you don't ask questions and you act like you know what they're talking about and you don't, and you make decisions based on whatever is on the fly. No. Hey, I don't understand this. Can you explain this for me? And I'm sure they'll be happy to, because everybody wants what's best for the child or the young adult. So yeah, don't be afraid. Don't sign anything that you don't understand. Speak up. Let them know, I don't understand this. I need to take this home. I need to review it and research it, and I can bring it back in a day or two. As long as you remain in compliance with the IEP deadline, you should be fine. Don't sign anything that you don't understand. There were times where I would be sitting at the table with the experts and I would be like, hey, they feel like they know my son better than me. And it's like, they're the expert in their field. They're the expert because they did clinicals and all the hard work and the years of education and all the things. But I want you to know that you are the expert of your child, and no degree can trump that. We can bring the information together of what you know about your child or your young adult, and they can bring their expertise, and we can all bridge the information together to make a positive outcome that will benefit everybody that's involved. Okay? And I know that these systems can be exhausting. I deal with them. I still deal with them. They're never going to go away, and it is okay. But it's something that we have to do for our babies. Don't let these systems break you. I know they weren't designed with us in mind, but don't let these systems break you. With every appointment, every therapy session, just know that you are gaining the tools and the wisdom that you need to help your loved one gain independence. Okay? So that's the reason why I wrote the book, Thriving Through the Unexpected. finding hope in dark places, I talk about things that happen with my son, things that happen with me, and how to overcome and don't let opportunities become obstacles for you. Because sometimes we can see things and think like, oh, I can't go over that hurdle, when it's only an obstacle that you can make into an opportunity. So don't allow that to happen. Okay. So in the meantime, you mom, you dad, you coworker or caregiver, you caregiver are doing an amazing job. I need you to pat yourself on the back because you deserve it. This is not a cakewalk. This is not something that's easily done. It takes a lot of hard work, perseverance, crying, tears, laughter, joy, all the emotions that are involved. So I want you to give yourself some grace, pat yourself on the back as much as you can because you deserve it. Okay. In the meantime, in between time, I want you to keep rising, keep shining, and keep thriving. Until next time, Sunflower Circle, take care. Bye.